I thought he was just my gatekeeper, silent, serious, and untouchable. But the night he handed me that mysterious black cap, everything changed. One touch sent sparks through me, and suddenly, I couldn't say no. Behind closed doors, he revealed a side of himself I never saw coming. And once I gave in, there was no going back. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'd never seen him outside that gate. Every morning, like clockwork, I'd pass by the security booth at the front of my apartment complex, where the same tall, quiet man sat with his arms crossed and eyes scanning the street. He was the gatekeeper, the one people ignored, the one who never seemed to speak unless necessary. Until one night. I had just come home late from a dinner party, still in my long black dress, heels clicking against the pavement as I fumbled for my keys. The breeze was cool, and I remember wishing I'd brought a jacket. That's when I heard the sound of the gate buzzing, and I turned to see him. He wasn't in the booth. He was standing by the entrance, leaning casually against the pillar, wearing a black t-shirt that stretched across his shoulders and, oddly, a black cap pulled low over his eyes. "Evening, Madison," he said, his voice low and steady. I blinked. "You know my name?" He gave a short nod, lifting the brim of the cap slightly. "You live here. I know the names of all my residents." He had never spoken to me before. Not like this. His tone was different. Not professional. Not distant. There was a calm intensity to it that made my heart flutter. "Thanks," I mumbled, brushing hair from my face, trying not to look flustered. He smiled a little, barely. Before I could walk past, he pulled something from behind his back. A box, long and narrow, wrapped in silver paper. "I have something for you." My stomach flipped. "For me? Why?" He shrugged. "Call it a late birthday gift." My birthday had been 2 weeks ago. I never told anyone in the building, and no one from work had remembered either. I swallowed hard and looked at the box. "You shouldn't have." "I wanted to," he said simply. I hesitated, then opened it. Inside was a black cap, just like the one he was wearing. Not flashy, but elegant, with soft fabric and a tiny silver emblem on the side that looked like a moon. I stared at it. "Why a cap?" He tilted his head. "It's not just a cap. Try it on." I shook my head. "No, I can't. This is weird." "Madison," he said, stepping closer. His voice dipped. "Just touch it." My fingers grazed the brim, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I felt a current run through me. The texture, the way it warmed under my touch, it was unreal. It wasn't just an accessory. It felt like it held something powerful. I looked up at him. "What is this?" He smiled again, softer this time. "It's something I made. I sew in my spare time. That hat was made for you." It was such a strange turn of events. I didn't know whether to laugh or run. I had always assumed he was just another guy in a uniform, another quiet face behind glass. But now, the way he looked at me, there was heat in his gaze. Not lust. Something deeper. Something careful. His eyes studied mine, waiting, but not pushing. I held the cap in my hand, heart racing. "I don't even know your name." "Blake," he said. "Blake Carter." Blake. I whispered it to myself. That night, I didn't sleep. I placed the cap beside my bed and stared at it for hours. I couldn't explain why I felt like something had shifted between us. And worse, I couldn't stop thinking about him, about Blake, and the way he stood so still but felt so commanding. There was something unspoken in his presence that haunted me. The next morning, I wore the cap. And everything changed. When I walked past the booth, Blake looked up, saw me wearing it, and his jaw tensed. "You wore it," he said, like it mattered more than I could understand. "Why do I feel like this thing means something?" He stepped out of the booth again, walking close, too close. His voice dropped. "Because it does. I made it with intention." I laughed nervously. "What kind of intention?" His hand came up, not touching me, but hovering just beside my cheek. "To wake something inside you." I should have stepped back. But I didn't. Instead, I leaned into his voice, his nearness, the way my body responded without permission. It was like he knew the ache I carried inside, the emptiness, the craving for connection, touch, feeling. I hadn't had that in years. "Come with me," he said. "To where?" He didn't answer. Instead, he handed me his spare key card to access the back tower. My heart pounded as I followed him later that evening, up to the roof of the building. The air was thick with summer heat, the city lights flickering far below us. He turned, face serious, and said, "I don't want to just watch you from the booth anymore." That was when he touched the brim of the cap I wore. And then, with a slow, patient hand, he tilted it back, his fingers brushing my forehead. The contact sent shivers through me. "You've always looked through me," he whispered. "But I've always seen you." "Then show me," I whispered. The kiss came slowly, soft and hot, full of restraint and hunger. My hands gripped his shirt as he pulled me in, his mouth claiming mine with a need that matched my own. The heat between us built until I thought I might come apart just from the way he touched my waist, how his hands curved around my back like he already knew every inch of me. When his mouth moved to my neck, I gasped, tilting my head back, letting him explore with reverence and fire. "I've waited too long," he breathed. "Too long to feel you like this." My fingers ran up into his hair, knocking off his own cap. I was shocked by how tender he looked, how vulnerable. The gatekeeper with eyes that never blinked was now trembling under my touch. He lifted me onto the edge of the rooftop wall, careful, hands never rushing. And in the soft glow of moonlight, with the wind pressing against our skin, we held each other, letting years of silence melt into touches, into kisses that said everything we hadn't dared speak aloud. We didn't rush it. We savored it. That night, we didn't go further than touches, then deep kisses and warm hands that roamed slowly under clothing but never crossed the lines we both respected. Still, it was the most intimate connection I had ever known. The next day, I felt different. I walked with more confidence, smiled more. I saw him again by the booth, and when our eyes met, something electric passed between us. He didn't need to say anything. I knew he remembered every moment. And when he offered his hand that evening after his shift, I took it. Over the next few weeks, we met in quiet corners, rooftops, stairwells, even behind the security office, where he'd pull me close when no one was watching. His hands, always gentle, would travel over my back, my arms, his voice in my ear a low whisper that sent tingles through my spine. But there was always suspense too. What if someone saw us? What if the other residents reported something? I was the girl who'd kept to herself for years, who never broke rules or took chances. Now I was falling in love with the one man I thought I'd never even talk to. And it was thrilling. One night, I asked him, "Why the hat?" He leaned back on the couch in my living room, his fingers twirling a strand of my hair. "It wasn't just about the hat," he said. "It was about giving you something you couldn't ignore. Something personal. You knew I'd say no." "I did," he grinned. "But I also knew you'd touch it anyway. And when you did, you'd feel what I felt when I made it for you." That night, I took off his shirt. Slowly, carefully. And he let me take control. I kissed his chest, his shoulders, every inch that had been hidden beneath that security uniform. His body trembled under my lips, and when we finally made love, it wasn't wild. It was deep, slow, endless. Like two people rediscovering breath. After, I lay against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. "I used to think you were invisible," I said. "I used to wish I was," he whispered back. "Until you." I ran my fingers over the black cap on the nightstand. "I'm glad I touched it." "Me too," he said. Now, months later, we live together. He still works the gate sometimes, but he spends most nights in our shared apartment, sewing new caps, designing custom gear, launching a small online brand that's growing faster than either of us expected. And that original black cap? It hangs in our bedroom, framed like art. The day I touched that hat, I didn't know it would change everything. I didn't know it would lead to a kind of love that crept in slowly, then consumed me completely. But I'm glad I took it. I'm glad I took his black. Because now, we're more than just happy. We're home. If you liked this, then don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon.